I honestly don't remember.
That's fine. So when we're playing a comp like this, a lot of times your Soj is kind of going to be bait almost for the enemy team. And what you guys need to figure out, and this is something that usually your Kiri or your Soj is going to say, is deciding whether you're flipping the fight towards the enemy team or you're like sliding away. So there's going to be certain situations where like your Soj will want to slide in aggressively to trade off
Where your
damage,
soldier want to slide
and
away
there's situations where
for
your Soj
safety.
will
Does that
slide
make
in
sense?
for safety. Does that make sense?
So if we take a look at
Yeah.
this, looks
Yeah.
like they got here way faster than us. I'm assuming they TP'd out. Did you guys? No, it doesn't look like they TP'd actually. Why are we so slow?
Oh, we don't have Juno. We're doing Kiri Lucio. I guess we didn't amp. Yeah, we probably didn't amp. It's fine.
We don't
Yeah.
amp.
No, I think
Whoa.
I had something happen.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
remember
yeah,
why.
yeah,
so
yeah.
mine
You
was
Right.
see, you just
Yeah.
see it.
Okay.
mine's
Awesome.
computer turned off
Yeah, because we
at the
paused
start, but
too.
then she didn't
Oh,
leave the
my
We
game.
yeah.
paused for like 2 minutes.
I'm having
Okay,
problems.
now mine's
Yeah,
back.
monitor
Okay,
geeked.
cool.
Yeah.
So we do kind of lose first fight in terms of space. So we have to kind of concede space and then try to go somewhere else.
Yeah, I was like, let's just
Yeah.
swap, just swap
Something you guys could
sides.
do as well is you could fake going this way and then like speed amp back through here.
And then
Yeah,
just
you
go
could like
back.
double
That's what I
back
was gonna
around or
say. I'm like,
something.
could we have just
Yeah.
done that? Maybe.
The other thing that you could do, and this is something I'd maybe consider, is you could show presence here and then try to get some people set up here or leave somebody behind here. Can be an option as well.
Yeah, like maybe like leave our sojourn or maybe send tracer.
Yeah, sure.
Not sure.
It'd probably be like maybe Soj Lucio or something like that. Could be an option. But again, your comp's a little bit weird. I'd usually have it be the Genji taking that angle. But you don't have a Genji currently that you can utilize, right? But something that like a lot of people kind of forget about is they'll like, oh, we losing some people.
No one important. We're all here.
Okay, we're all good.
The
Okay,
team's
okay.
here. That's what that matters.
Yeah. So, for example, like there's a lot of teams that will, let's say, send 5 people to a certain location, and then they'll end up taking one of those people or taking 2 of those people, and they'll send them away on an angle, right? And then we call this obviously taking an off angle. But something else that you can do as well is you could take the 5 and you can move them and then leave 2 behind where you already were. So it's almost like you're taking the off angle with your tanks and with like the majority of your team versus taking the off angle with your squishies. Does this make sense? So we could probably do that here since we already have to concede space anyways. But the fact that we full rotate here as a 5 to me is really, really, really bad. And the main reason why is because they have a choke advantage, right? So if we try to, path through this space, it's going to be a little bit awkward. And this is just a very narrow choke for us to cross. Like to cross this line is really, really hard. And our Kiriko or our Sojourn is going to suffer a lot, right? Because as a Soj player, what do you really see from here? Nothing super important because if you're a Soj player standing here, you can kind of just see maybe like down this line and everything to the left of it. But what about the people that are actually set up looking at you this way? You can't really see them. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a very awkward angle for Soj. And obviously, if you wanted to influence them or like attack them in some sort of way, you would now have to swing this. And this feels so scary for you. Like every step that you take is so scary. So need to try to profit from angles as much as we can. Also, there's a danger of this happening against Hazard is just in general, walking through chokes as a stack is really, really tough because he's going to wall you off. And it's not going to feel very good. So we need angles here, right? Yep, they're Genji engages. We're probably just going to get team wiped here. That's fine. Make sure that we die faster. Don't try to live. Just die. Do you see how we're kiting here? This is really bad, right? Like we should just die as soon as humanly possible. Maybe you're able to get back to spawn or something. But I'm not really sure. Oh, looks like you guys are actually able to live. I'm kind of surprised. Okay. So they're going to cap point now. And let's see what we do here. Okay, let's see if we take an angle. So that'll be good. All right. We go for a Soji, but it doesn't really land quite how we want it to.
Yeah, I think I tried to catch on the hazard by miss.
That's okay. Maybe something you could try is like aiming the Soji here, or if you know the range of it well enough, you can use the Soji early, like on a 3-2-1 while your team pushes through, and that way it lands somewhere more like in this space. But it's not too big of a deal. It's a little bit of an awkward angle to get Soji value from, so I won't blame you too hard for it.
Yeah, I don't know the range.
Yeah. So something that we can consider, right, is like if we look at their comp or we look at our comp, what are the major differences, right? Anybody know?
Their supports is
Okay.
one of them.
So like the backlines
Agent
are
number.
different. I'll just
We're
write
in
down.
theory much more mobile, and they're very good.
Sure. Yeah. So let's write. I'll write down the differences. So the differences is that it's Juno Brig versus Kiri and Lucio, correct? Okay. So what are the differences between Juno Brig and Kiri Lu? What does that really mean?
Juno Brig can pump out way more numbers.
Juno Brig can what?
pump out way more numbers, like way more
Sure,
healing,
maybe, yeah.
But
In terms of like raw healing output, maybe, yeah. So if they have like a healing advantage versus us, should we play faster or should we play slower?
we gotta
Okay,
play
much
fast.
faster. And we can also agree that these guys are more like sturdy than us, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of have like
Yep.
a slower comp versus
They're also
something
more
that's a little
dependent
bit
on each other.
faster. Yeah. And then another factor that we can write down is that there's a difference in terms of tradability. Okay. So let me just write that down. Tradability. Pretty sure it's not even a fucking word, but I'm going to make it a word. Okay. So how tradable is their backline in comparison to our backline? Well, if you were a tank or a DPS and you tried to aggress onto, let's say, a Kiri Lucio backline, what's the Lucio going to do? He's going to boop you and run away. And what's the Kiriko going to do? Okay.
Just TP away.
If you try to trade onto Juno Brig, what is the Juno going to do? Ring and try to fly away as best as they can, right? Maybe they don't have rings, so they're a little bit easier to kill, but they're still going to be kind of hovering around a bit, kind of like a Lucio, difficult to kill. What about Brig?
She's just kind of scary to walk at. Well, maybe not scary, but
well, Brig is
bash.
the point I'm making is that Brig is very immobile.
She's survivable.
Brig's very immobile in comparison to these two. So what we can do is we can say, hey, let's have our Lucio take an angle with a DPS. Let's have our Kiriko stack main. If your hazard jumps me, I just TP away. Right? But if my hazard jumps you, where does your Brig go? Nowhere.
She dies.
So their backline is more tradable than our backline is in theory. Does this make sense? Our Kiriko should be harder to reach and chase down than the Brig will be. The Brig at least gives us a stationary target to attack. Same with this guy, actually. Cassidy is also a stationary target that we can attack. Okay, he's not very mobile either. So we have like slow versus fast, and then we have like mobility versus non-mobility. Okay, so it's really, really, really important to note. We also have.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
A problem that I ran into, and I ended up having to swap off Lucio because I kept wall riding into Hazard Wall. Like I'd get thrown behind me and I couldn't get away. Is there, like, how do I Hazard I'm struggling against because the wall.
Yeah.
Is like, how should I play against him?
I think the way that you're playing Lucio against Hazard is you're usually going to the side of the map where the Hazard's not. So you want to try to walk towards like the weak side of the map where the Hazard is not present.
Okay.
So what that means is like, let's say Hazard's sitting at this choke, you would probably take your Genji and your Lucio and you would send them all the way to like this side somewhere, you know, to take a flank. And then if the Hazard engages onto you, you're really, really, really far away. So you should be able to react to that and be safe. Okay.
Okay.
It's also important to note that as the Lucio player, you need to understand that a lot of times you're kind of the default TP target for your Kiriko to leave. So you don't actually want to go too far in, or else Hazard's going to look to trade you and he's going to aggress onto you. You're going to be possibly in higher amounts of danger, and you might be too far in to let your Kiriko actually TP and escape to you. So a lot of times you want to kind of communicate with your Kiriko, like, hey, you can TP to me, so that like if your Kiri's here and your Lucio's over here, I'll draw circles so it's easier. Then if their Hazard aggresses onto your Kiri can TP to your Lucio, which would be you.
Okay.
So you're like an escape route for your backline. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So another difference is that we have Tracer versus non-Tracer. Okay. What does that mean that we have an advantage in? Good point. So what's something that you guys think we could do right now? Speaking of point pressure. Let's go force point. Why not, right? Why would we take this composition and try to walk through this in Brawl? First of all, they have a choke. So even if it was just a mirror, most compositions in this game in a mirror, if one has a choke and one has to push through it, the one who's holding the choke just has an advantage built in, right? But they also have Cassidy and they have Genji, and both of those characters function really, really well in punishing you when you walk through a choke. Does our Sojourn feel very comfortable taking this fight?
No.
No.
Nope. Does Tracer want to be here?
Not at all.
So why are we here? It sounds pretty simple when you put it that way, right? So when it comes to our composition, we need to play for our strengths, right? And try to avoid weaknesses or avoid enemy strengths. So the enemy is really strong in this space. right? Thumper, it looks like maybe you're thinking about going to the point right now, which I think would be a great idea. But Thumper, if you go over here and you like blink and then you touch or something like that, now, even though you're not going to be able to actually cap, they'll probably respond to you in time. You just play your life and you simply attract them away from this choke. When their heads turn like this to go back to point, that's when your tank should be able to cross through this line a little bit easier. Okay. Does this make sense?
Yep.
Okay. We're kind of just brawling and scrapping. We're probably going to lose this fight if that happens. Yep, we're getting brawled out by a cast. We're getting brawled out by a brig. They have more heals than us. It's just not a very good fight. So we kind of just get mogged. Skip ahead a little bit more. Do we do the same thing again? Looks like we do. Okay, we start. Not a bad try here, though, Thumper. I like the idea to just get through and create the off angle. I really, really, really like that idea. I don't think it's too bad. I think this would maybe work if we had like a rush or something that we were going with, you know, where like our team had really, really, really high pressure by popping an ultimate through here. And so your off angle is connecting with pressure. But right now it's kind of just you alone. They end up going with a rally. So we just have to try to live right now. We'll see how well we do that. Really care the cast, Thumper? Oh, that's why we care cast. Okay. So one thing here is that Thumper, once you reach this position, your goal is not necessarily just doing whatever you can to get this kill. I mean, I guess technically it's a good trade on paper. If you kill a Juno and then you end up dying, it's probably fine. But in general, what you probably want to do is maintain control of this corner. Okay. Because the main idea is like when you have this choke right here, if you go past this choke, you're peeking everybody who's sitting here, right? Can you visualize that? Visualize that, right? But if you don't go past this line and you stay here and you shoot, they can't see you behind the corner. So you're much safer. And the only way that this castie can actually kill you is if he walks all the way over to like here and then shoots you this way. And if he does that, he's peeking across our team's face. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So here, I think we just didn't really care the cast enough. Because what you're doing right now is great, right? You see how you're just kind of like staying in this little threshold and you do a lot of damage from here, correct? Versus like here, you still do a pretty decent amount of damage from here, right? So you're whittling down our HP. You're doing a great job. You're pressuring, pressuring, pressuring. Then we step kind of far. And now all of a sudden we're in the Castie's LOS. And then here we end up like strafing back to cover and jumping at the same time, which both of those things will mean that you're easier to headshot or you're easier to just shoot in general. So when you jump, your character's trajectory is stuck. So it makes it really, really easy for hit scan players to line up shots. The other thing is it's kind of obvious that you're going to go back to cover because that's what most human beings will do. So when you're in open space, most human beings will kite to cover. So a smart hit scan player is going to have his crosshair trained right here waiting for you to walk into his crosshair. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So something you can maybe do is you could actually linger in this space, strafe away from the cover, and then blink to the cover to cross that gap. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of like mind game it a little bit. So it's like you're out here, you're like, oh shit, like I gotta be careful, gotta be careful. Boom, now I'm out. And then if he keeps chasing me, I'm gonna keep kiting away, and like resetting our angle. Right? But we end up getting picked here, which has been unfortunate. We get a really good pick here though. That's a good trade for sure. This rush is not the greatest. It's super, super far behind, right? If the hazard's already this low, I think we just need to kill him and then probably like rush from here to like here if possible.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, we end up going for a wall. Probably just focus the Cassidy. Oh my god, we are greeting so hard for backline. Okay. Is this cast not just dead? Or should be dead? Did you notice that all of our eyes are looking here? This isn't necessarily a bad thing, guys, okay? It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's okay to want to kill supports. And I'm not saying that we are not able to kill supports, but I will say that if this guy doesn't die, there's a chance he just kills Sara Lee here. There's a chance he actually kills Akio too. Like, if actually nobody looks at him, there is a chance he just gets trades, correct? Like, this character does a lot of damage at this range. We agree? So yep. Why not just kill this guy for free, and then we can kill these guys, like, over here and over here. We don't need to kill them right now, but just shoot the person that's closest to you. Not always, but I think right now it makes sense. Like, Cass is literally inside of our team. Can we please shoot him? What happens? We all walk past.
Like, oh, I don't...
Yeah, he misses every single shot, but...
Yeah.
You know, he could have gotten a trade, and that'd be very, very, very bad for us.
He bounced on our heads, it like threw me off.
Yet. Yeah, that's okay. We also lose Moon. I just realized we're on Juno. Okay. Yeah, bit unfortunate. Just need to touch the objective. And then we can hopefully kill Genji. Good. All right, let's take space. We have a Kiriko. Okay, hopefully we wall them when they cross. So, do you guys think that it's easier to cross over lines like this with a Kiri Lucio or with a Juno Brig?
Probably Juno Brig. I mean, they got a little bit easier to
Probably, yeah, Juno
force.
Brig. More sustain.
They have more sustain, but also Lucio and Kiri are a bit more mobile, correct? So Lucio Kiri can like go around, they can TP through, they can do a lot of cool stuff. We agree? Juno Brig, and more specifically Brig, really has to like full walk through the choke without really having a cooldown to help her. So I think that this Brig should be super punishable when they cross this line. Okay, let's see how well we do that.
True.
Their hazard engages. Where's our backline? Where is our backline? Our backline's for sure alive. Okay, why are we here?
There's like a story. I don't remember.
We are very far over here. Why are we here?
I don't recall.
Okay.
There's something going on, I think. We're hunting somebody.
Because we don't have our other support back yet, right?
Yes.
So I don't really mind you being over here if we I don't really mind you being over here if we had our other support. But right now you're the only heals that we have because this player's not back yet. So I feel like Tracer's the #1 person on the team right now in this current situation that doesn't need heals because it's Tracer. But if Akio's taking a neutral, if your tank is playing close to the choke, you probably want to be somewhere like over here. Does that make sense? Just like with your team.
Yeah, it does.
Not bad to take off angles though, but let's see. This slide's really, really, really good. This punish is great. This is fantastic. I think we can get a better wall there though, for sure, right, Salt? I feel like we can get a better wall.
Oh, I blocked this.
Also, I think this is one of the first ones we've had where we're against Hazard. So.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So I think what I would want to try to do here, Salt, is that when you go for this play here, I would want to try to wall somewhere like over here in this space, because it's kind of hard for him to like, you know, to kite over here if you can place this wall down. Maybe the angle's a bit awkward.
And that's his wall he places. I'm pretty sure.
Oh wait, where's our wall? My bad.
We're a red team.
I placed my
Salt wall's choke.
Oh, my bad. Sorry guys, I've been coaching for like 10 hours today.
Yeah, that's fair.
You're good, bro.
Yeah. Completely disregard everything I just said then, okay? The wall was good. Your wall was good. His wall was mediocre. Okay, that was our ultimate that we used. We ended up killing the hazard off of it. We used Rush and OC the previous fight. They didn't use any ultimates at all. Okay. Ooh. What do we think about this pulse, guys?
Not great.
Okay. Why is it not great? Because we missed it?
No, not just because we missed it. We
already won.
We're already up one. We've won the fight.
Winning.
And pulse is usually used for engaging rather than mid-fight.
Yeah, and we also just used another ultimate. So I'm not saying it's as high of a chance. Like, I would rather have a hazard ult every fight instead of a pulse maybe. But there is a chance that if we're able to win this fight just off of our hazard ult, which it looks like we're about to do, then we can use this ultimate to win the next fight before it even starts. Right? But we don't even have that chance if we go for pulse right now. So usually, like, what you don't want to do as Tracer is pulse in winning fights, because the fight's already kind of won as long as we just play the game, right? Like here, the fight's just won for us. This is great. Yep. Really, really, really good. Okay. Don't peek here too hard. You can get walled off, right? Very, very, very close. Okay, here, beautiful wall, right? Okay, we end up full kiting. This looks good. Nothing wrong with that. Really good kite, guys. Great. Great discipline. Okay, we don't have ours quite yet, so we need to be a little bit careful. Looks like they end up going for a blade. We're obviously not going to have anything for it because we don't have a Lucio or a Brig. That's a bit of a problem. Yeah, we're probably just dead here. Looks a bit dogfighty, but we should still lose. Okay, now we swapped to Juno Brig. Interesting. Don't mind it though. I think it can be okay. Let's see how we retake here. Okay, they walk with High Noon. They end up killing 2 with it. Yeah, it looks a little bit rough. So do we at least understand why we're suffering these losses in the fight? Our comp's a little weird, right? But I actually think that our comp is like fine. I feel like you should have a Genji in your comp, but you don't necessarily need the Genji, okay? But when we swap to like the Juno and the Kiri, those two characters together just don't make a whole lot of sense for a meta like this. It's worked in previous metas a little bit, but it's just not really for this comp, I would say. And maybe I can be proven wrong in the future. But do you guys understand like how our retakes are kind of scuffed? Like we need to be able to retake and pressure the objective. We have to understand that the characters we've chosen have pros and cons, and we're kind of playing more towards their cons than the pros. You guys understand? So we just need to leverage point control more. We need to play a little bit wider. I feel like we stacked a lot and kind of tried to outbrawl them, which is just never going to work if they're playing Juno Brig with Cassidy. Like they're so sturdy, it's just not really going to work for us, right? So just need to play a little bit wider. Now we're playing the same comp. Are we playing the mirror for some reason? I'm not really sure why. Is it because you guys are like, oh my god, we lost to this, so it must be good. Let's play it ourselves. Is that the logic? Probably something like that. I'm assuming.
I don't know. I don't think it was that.
What is this comp? This is a new one.
There was a vision. I don't remember.
Ours or theirs?
Yours. Oh. What's the idea behind our comp?
I don't know.
Thumper said he had a vision. I remember that.
I questioned the Farah, but Thumper said he had a vision, so I believed in him.
I see. Okay.
Thumper we trust.
Unfortunately, you probably shouldn't be trusting Thumper here because I can't imagine this being that great of a Farah map. The reason why is because it's really open, right? And usually with Farah, it's like you don't necessarily mind long range maps with Farah, but you do prefer maps that have a lot of nice cover for Farah to use. I'm not quite sure I would like warrant this map as being nice cover. But we'll see how this works here. They also go with a completely different matchup, so this is going to be interesting to see. Okay. They have no bubble. They fuck up their jump. Let's all shoot Winston here. Monkey. Good. Very good. So what I typically like to see from teams, especially at this level, is the idea of what I call like a hive mind, okay? It's like being able to swarm targets. So when we notice that there's a cooldown disadvantage by the enemy team, when we notice that someone's armor is low, when we notice that somebody doesn't have XYZ, Soj no slide, Kiri no Suzu, Kiri no TP, Brig no shield, stuff like that. Like calling out these things, or like Brig no bash, things like that is what allows us to hive mind and swarm those targets and then get the kill. So like here, for example, the Winston used his bubble, then he tried to jump out, then that jump got booped by something. I don't even know if he maybe just bonked his head or something like that. I'm not really sure. But the fact that I could see all of you guys turn for the Winston and try to go for that kill immediately was really good. So I want to keep up stuff like that, okay? Forcing out the Genji. We need to make sure that we go to point. Clear this out. Good. Make sure we cap here. They might try to touch. Doesn't look like it. Nice. And then let's see how this goes. Okay. So the thing that's interesting about the Hazard and Winston matchup is I feel like it's like somewhat playable for the Winston, but Hazard to me has a much faster cycle than Winston, right? I feel like Winston is more of an investment in a cycle where like once he jumps and uses his bubble and then he jumps back out, he has quite a long downtime. Versus Hazard, you kind of have like constant uptime in a way. You guys get what I'm saying? So yeah. I feel like we have faster cycles versus slower cycles. Something we can try to do is to cycle first tempo to force stuff and then get out and then go back in after type stuff. Or we can just shoot the hell out of the Winston, which I think is another really good idea. Okay.
We forced the echo swap.
Oh, they did go to echo. Would you look at that? Okay. This is a bit ambitious, Salt. We're kind of just alone. And you're diving in a space where there's a wall here that doesn't give you any sort of care. And we don't have DPS that are with us. So I feel like this push is a little bit ambitious. Do you guys know how you should be playing if you have a Farah in your composition? I'm not saying this is a good comp, by the way, but I'm saying like with what you've given me, what do you guys think I would tell you to do if I was like live coaching you guys?
What?
There's something really important.
Would be
I don't know, maybe
just like opposite.
Do we have a comp that like gets in really easily?
Yeah, so oh yeah, we do.
Yeah, kinda.
So we need
maybe
to
like half of our team.
We need to hit them in the rotate maybe.
But
like
these
Farah
guys
is not
don't
the
like
worst.
get in all the time, right? Well, Farah's not the worst, but she's definitely not the best.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if we wanted to play for a win condition that was get in the fuck in, you know, why don't we play Kirilu and Trey or something?
Is the most important thing to hold space to deny the enemy team angles on Thumper?
Not necessarily what I'm looking for, but it sounds good. I don't want to tell you that that's like a bad thing or a wrong thing to say. But the key thing is that maybe this will help you guys out a little bit is I want you to imagine that your Pharah is an Ashe or a Widow.
In her line of sight.
Does Ashe or Widow, does Ashe or Widow dive?
No.
But aren't they played in dive comps?
Mm-hmm.
For a long time? How does that work? If they're not dive characters who can get in, how do you possibly play dive with Ashe or Widow? Well, you play for specific kill boxes, correct?
Advantage of the chaos.
It's all about the kill box. So, for example, Salt, if I was a Winston here and I jump like this and I have an Ashe that's like all the way over here, how does my Ashe help me? They can't, right? But what if you played like over here and then their backline walked like to this area and you have an Ashe that's like here?
Yeah.
All of a sudden we're connecting in, what would we call this?
Kill box.
Kill box. Awesome. So we need to make sure that we have a connected kill box with our ranged carry, which in this case, it would be our Pharah. In other cases, it's going to be a Widowmaker or an Ashe, or sometimes even like a Cassidy, I guess you could say. Okay. Or a Sojourn. Sojourn for sure, right? Although Soj has a little bit more mobility. So Soj is kind of like a hybrid in that way. All right. But does this make sense to you guys? If our Pharah doesn't see the enemy, we shouldn't be diving the enemy. Plain and simple. Where's our Pharah right now? Right here on point. So when can we dive the enemy? Well, something we can maybe play for is maybe Thumper could get a little bit of elevation somewhere like below the edge of my screen. And then when they're on a brig peaks here, which they might do, we can go for a boop to boop them down and then we dive them here. That could be an option, right? Our hazard engages, we get a boop. You guys kind of visualize it? If they're playing on a space over here, like on statue or something like that, then maybe our Pharah can swing a little bit wide and we can like shoot them from here or something, you know, or we can shoot them from here, or our Pharah can actually do a 3-2-1 angle over here and get behind them and boop them into us as our hazard engages from here. So there's options for us, right?
Yeah.
But we need to make sure that we're diving with the highest quality possible. And this to me is not very high quality. Thumper's going to probably die, or not Thumper, sorry. Salt's probably going to die. Looks like Salt's not going to die. Hazard broken, maybe. Somebody dies though. Was that us or was that them? Looks like it was us. Okay, so we lose Sarah Lee. What happened here?
I'm just having visions.
So us inting this way meant that you, Salt, were not doing damage to them on their engage, which is what you should be doing, right? And also it means that our Juno had to hard pocket you because you're taking so much damage, which takes away from our damage and our healing that could be applied to this space, which kind of leads to our team dying. So it's almost like a domino effect, because usually our Juno would be able to like pocket Sarah Lee right now, but our Juno is like very, very, very concerned with you taking a lot of damage, but Sarah Lee kind of just gets walked on and we're not here. Then there's a Tracer over here that we're trying to mark. Thumper is doing his best to mark her, but I feel like Thumper, you should actually probably just be playing here and let the Tracer come to you. You don't really chase Tracer, right? But Tracer will eventually appear if you just are patient. So you kind of just got to mark Tracer, not really chase too hard. But here we definitely need to be shooting this Winston. He has taken 0 damage. 625 HP out of 625 HP. So this dude just basically got a kill for free, and he came all the way around the map like this to do it. He went from his spawn all the way here and ended up here, taking 0 damage. That's no bueno, guys. No bueno. So we need to make sure that we're scouting their setups. We should be shooting their setups. And then we should be protecting our backline whenever possible. Okay? Really nice shot, Thumper. Let's see. Can we get a kill on the Winston here, maybe? Ends up using bubble. We're splitting our target focus. Oh, boy. Okay. So we got like a duel over here happening. We got a 1v1 with Winston Farr happening. We got Salt going over here. Do you guys just see a general lack of cohesion? Like, we're not really on the same page about what we're doing. So it's really, really tough to figure out what we're actually going to do. And a big part of this is like preparation, right? So I would be thinking that let's draw like a line here or something, okay? Or honestly, even a line here is probably fine. And let's try to think that like when they come out of their spawn, we need a plan on what we're going to do. So the first thing that we have to do is we can come up with like a general plan of what we'd like to do. And we could say something very simple like, guys, I want to hit them on rotation. Okay, hitting them on rotation, that's a good call. Maybe that can work. But in order for us to do that, don't we actually need to know where they're rotating? So for example, If their backline decided to go all the way over here, then maybe we can hit them somewhere in this space and we can like actually play up really far. Maybe that'd be a good play. But if their backline rotates like this, then setting up for this play means absolutely nothing, even though in the previous example it was really good. So their pathing and their choice of routing is going to dictate how we hit them. Okay? They have so many different options on where they can enter through the map. So the first thing we need to do is scout. It's extremely important. What I used to tell teams, I don't know if I told you guys this in the past, but what I used to tell teams, especially when I was teaching them like dive fundamentals, was I teach them like about the S's is what I called them. So you'd have your scouting, you'd have your setup, you'd have your striking. Okay? Scout, setup, strike. So we scout where they're going. Okay? Once we know where they're going, we make a call on how we'd like to set up. So for example, let's say that they decided to go this way. How would you guys like to set up?
Sorry.
Any ideas?
What was that? What was
if they go drum, so I'll write it out. So the first thing we got to do on defense is we scout.
Yes.
And then we set up.
They're just going drum. I saw that, but I missed what direction where you said they were going.
Over here towards drum. So if their team was pathing towards drum, how would you guys like to play? They took a route kind of like come out of spawn, walk this way, and then tried to enter through here.
In that choke a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get some forest spam into that choke at hazard in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe brig on like I guess maybe point, you know, brig just closer to point or something. I'm not sure. Put them.
Say you could attack them like before they quite like.
And then like Genji in the hole.
Building.
This hole?
No. The hole, the back. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can play that angle pretty strongly.
Yeah, have someone fly through there.
Or like he could watch that hole because it's like a strong.
Access sure. We can use it to scout, right? We could also scout here.
Yeah. Yep. Hold up space.
I would love to have somebody scouting there early at least. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's a lot of different. Yeah, there's a lot of different answers here. You know, if you guys were super aggressive, you could probably even justify hitting them somewhere like here. You know, with like, but you guys were saying like someone could go through here, someone could approach from here. You guys might even be able to justify a kill box there on their backline when they're walking on a brig. Something else you can maybe do is you can kind of let them have this amount of rotation, but once they get inside of this drum area, right, then we angle on the drum area. So we could have somebody sit back here and like Farah can fly over, start shooting through here. Hazard can play here on a 3-2-1, go through here. Right? We use like our ring timings. Maybe our brig is like set up over here somewhere, you know, like ready to go in with fire type stuff. You know what I'm saying? So we could have people set up ready to go. And maybe if we're scouting that they're rotating through here, then we could have our Genji be playing like underneath this window. Then we like climb through and then we engage. Okay. So I'm not saying that there's like a specific answer that's great. There's a lot of different answers that you could do, probably like an infinite amount of answers, honestly. But I just wanted to test you guys to see how our brains are basically working, okay? So when we're thinking about stuff like this is super important, okay? So I want you guys to try and have this thought process every single time you're on a defensive hold. Does that make sense? Especially if you're playing some sort of dive comp, try to remember the 3 S's, okay? It makes it easy to remember. So make sure that we're always scouting, make sure that we're always setting up, make sure that we're always striking, okay? And the strike should have like a 3-2-1 timing ideally. But I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. Now we're on Malga and we're on Reaper. Okay, this is very interesting. So I'm not going to lie. I think you guys just hard lose this matchup, in my opinion. I think Winston and Echo are really good into Genji. I think Echo dupe value onto Malga or even Reaper is really, really, really strong. Probably Malga. I think that Nade is really good into this comp because you guys don't have a cleanse. And also, I think that their comp has way longer range than you do, and this map is one of the widest and longest range in the game. So these swaps to me don't make a whole lot of sense. I'm gonna be real. Okay, they hit a pulse, whatever. Can't do anything about that. Let's move on. Okay. We end up going towards this side. This I agree with, though. Really, really, really like this rotation, guys. Do you know why I like this rotation?
Cuts down their sidelines.
That's a lot of this.
Well, they're kind of set up on a lot of different angles, correct?
Yep.
So what's the number one thing that we want to avoid?
Not playing their kill box?
Yeah, going into their kill box, right? Like going through the middle of the map. So the fact that you guys made the decision to go to the edges of the map, which here we decided on the right side versus the left side, either or I'd be really happy with. But why do I maybe like going to the right side more than the left side? aside from just the map geometry.
Anna's on right side.
Yeah,
I
there are
guess, if
backlines
it's
here.
closer out.
And this character doesn't move very fast, right?
No.
So if we were to pressure this way, their Anna's really happy about that, right? Because then she can just look for nades like here and just pocket from here. But if we walk this way and she rotates, all of a sudden now she's in the middle of the map on point and now she's more vulnerable. So we're forcing a rotation from her. So I really, really, really like this play. I think this is good. Right? Oh, how could we have made this even better?
Somebody has to cut.
Cut. Very
Yeah,
good.
send-
We need a
yeah,
cut angle, right?
I think I might. I don't know.
Okay, okay. I mean, that'd be great if you did. That'd be sick. Let's see.
Nope, I don't know.
Nope.
Yep.
Unfortunate.
Yep,
Unfortunate. Yeah. But if we know Anna's in here and we know we're going to push this way, we need some sort of adjacent pressure over here. Okay. Like a Malga, even just a Malga slam over here would be awesome. Right. And then we can just engage and we'd have a great time. That's a horrible bubble by this guy. That does absolutely nothing.
Oh, yeah.
I do, and I'm so fucking bad.
Somehow gets a kill from it though. Let's make sure we play in our thing. Good. Uh-oh. I think once it's a little bit nitpicky, but once we get that final kill, just try to use your next dash to get to safety and just focus on stabling and capping the objective versus getting the kills. So that way you don't get traded. Yeah, that's totally fine. Okay, looks like Thumper set up pretty close here. We're going to be able to scout them, right? We need to scout, then set up, then strike. We're scouting right now. Thumper, I'm assuming, is calling, hey, they're walking towards drum because we can see them go through the little area. We're still waiting for our team to get back. Now our team is back. What do you guys think we should do now?
We could look to just kind of surround them or go, well, out there Winston jump there. We could just go
Yeah,
past
my life.
their back line.
We could, yeah. That would be fine. So do we want to trade backlines against this composition?
Uh,
No.
Nah,
No.
yeah.
We need ours more, right?
I could just jump the Winston. I mean, that's the thing I could do as Malga. I mean, I could. I mean, we do also have Reaper. We could just blow him up, yeah? I mean, I mean, Anna's a lot of healing. He is
well, they just
nanoed,
committed
but-
they committed duplicate, right? I don't know. We gotta.
They use dupe here and they use
that
nano as
changes
well.
this actually.
I think you play to
Yeah,
kite,
let's leave.
right? You play to live, and then you re-engage with a note.
Yeah.
I just bashed the wrong way. Bash.
Yeah, little-
I actually think that us playing quickly with the comp that we're playing now is fine. I think it's okay to play quickly. Okay. The main thing that I would want to see is, if possible, I'd want my Brig and Genji to play this almost like it's a dive comp for us.
You
Okay.
want to see?
So something we could try is like when we're rolling out of spawn, Brig and Genji could be like here by now. And then Malga can just set up wherever the hell they want. And then Thumper, you were already set up over here.
Yeah.
And then you can TP, you TP through to here, right? Yep. So what we could do is a big 3, 2, 1 Reaper TPs. Brig and Genji engages from here. Malga stomps in from here. And we just crash out on backline. Does that make sense?
Their Winston looks dumb because he jumped in.
Yeah. Their Winston can try to go on our backline, but I think our backline will probably be okay. All right. Nice. It's a good stomp. Okay. The other option that we have, which could also maybe work, is we just try to like kind of hold the choke against the Winston as long as possible and just shoot the hell out of him with Reaper, which I think could work. Because we do a lot of damage. Yeah. So I think as long as Juno saves her little like fly thing, the Winston jump's not actually too scary against Juno. So you won't get traded too badly. And the other thing that we can consider is making sure that we're playing in a position where we can hit a whip shot really easily. So if we whip shot his jump and we just back away, isn't it kind of hard for Winston to actually chase us down because he's just kind of in open space the entire time? But our comp can get onto their backline pretty easy, so shouldn't be too hard. Good. All right, should we go early here or should we like kind of wait and shoot the objective?
No, I think we should go early because I got Cage.
Ideally, we should go early, right? But also, we don't have our backline back yet. But I agree with you in most scenarios. In most scenarios, I would love to go with an early Cage somewhere over here.
Yeah,
right?
generally speaking.
Yeah. Definitely agree.
Force the C9, baby.
Yeah, basically. Now they're on Doom. So I think we can also just cage the point Good work as well. Doom's probably going to touch. Maybe Tracer's going to touch. Let's force out Tracer. Now Doom's here. This is when we probably cage Doom. Perfect. Let's all shoot the Doom together. Good. Now we shoot Lucio. Great. And then everyone else just kind of falls down. Nice. Nice. Good job. Really good job, guys.
Oh,
Not too
most
shabby.
dead player in the
Awesome.
world.
I love brain rot Mauga gameplay.
Let's see what we end up playing here. Okay, so now you guys are playing sort of what they were on, and now they're on Venture
Because
has,
they're trolling.
and you guys had Reaper Genji. Such a weird combination of characters for on a brig, I feel.
Thumper's just a Reaper
Little
player
bit.
now.
Yeah.
You got him on that Reaper life.
Oh my God, Salt, you
Dead
are
Knight
taking
for me. I was super
infinite damage, by the way.
Yeah.
Salt, you're not allowed to swing like this.
He
in the
needs those
middle
right
of
clicks,
this
though.
game. I mean, you are taking infinite. That is a suicidal jump. You are dead. Yep. Okay. So we need to make sure that one of the golden rules of dive is minimize damage in the neutral. Take as little damage as humanly possible. What you can do instead is you could jump to point. You could stage theater. You could honestly just go co-side if you wanted to. I wouldn't even mind. You could jump up to here if you wanted to, and you're fine. You could go here and then jump to their high ground and then stage from here is what what I would probably do. But yeah. You guys on this map as well can also TP your Onabrig to here for first fight. It's something that I would maybe recommend.
Yeah. I mean, especially, I don't think Haz can climb up there, so that's probably not the worst.
He definitely can if he commits enough.
If he commits a
yeah.
wall or commits
It's less about it's less about that Haz can, because Haz can reach you here too. It's less about if Haz can reach you and more so is it a powerful position for you, which it definitely is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah, I would probably sim TP your backline up there maybe, and then just play from there. Yeah, they just kind of walk over us. Okay, so they're staging. What should we do? Now we're back to this guy's comp is horrible. Now we're on a brig cast Reaper Malga, which is just insane to me. Okay, and we're dead. So what should we do? I'm trying to figure that out. What do you guys think we should do?
5-stack, dude. We 5-stack and walk point.
Honestly, yeah, not that bad of an idea. Not that bad of an idea, but it feels so awkward to play this with on a brig,
No.
And it's also a pretty decently long range map, and we just have no range from our DPS, so it feels really really weird. Okay, the Lucio just drops into us, which is awesome.
Yeah.
That's a nice Ajax. Still losable though. We need to be careful. This cast might just trade everyone. We'll see. I think they will. Yeah, everyone just gets traded. Yeah, this is really tough. I think our comp is just very suboptimal. We're taking infinite damage. Our comp doesn't allow us to take really very many angles at all, so it's really tough. Can maybe try going theater. Oh, good. Really good double back. Doesn't look too bad. This is going to be very painful for us because their rush is going to do infinite. We're just playing inside of the rush. Nano's good though. I think that's a decent trade. Unfortunately, we have to rally though. I prefer that maybe we just nanoed a bit sooner and then save the rally if necessary, because we can maybe rally against a high noon or rally against a beat or rally against I don't even know, Venture or something. Maybe that could work. But yeah, nice picks. Let's see.
Yeah, right.
Looks like it's winnable. Nice, good stomp. And a little bit ambitious, Thumper. One could say a little bit ambitious. Oh, Lucio was so close to being dead. Should be able to kill him now, though. Nice. Okay. All right. So a little bit of a dogfight, guys. We can agree. A little bit of a dogfight. We end up swapping to Tracer. Okay. Now we have some point control, which is nice. We can leverage that. Let's see if they end up going to the objective. Thumper, I like your staging here. I think this is good. Okay. Where is my... Okay. We're just kind of playing main. Oh, that's really bad. Can't blame me for that too much, Thumper, to be honest. Really good pick.
Got him.
Nice, good stomp. Good, really good follow-up. Now there's just a Venture on point. Our Brig's marking for a second. This is really well played, guys. Really well played. How do we lose Accio?
Venture. Oh, I got stuck.
Oh, I didn't even realize you guys got stunned. Wait, how do we get stunned as a Brig?
I thought I was out of it.
I don't think Moon knows.
Does Moon not know the tech?
Moon probably doesn't know.
Oh, Moon absolutely does not know the tech. Okay. You need to umbrella theory these things. Just hold your shield like an umbrella, and then you survive, and you're good. Aside from that, really well played though. I like the way that we take these fights. This is good. Okay, let's see who we can shoot here. We use a rally. Nice, good stun.
That's messed up.
Kiri. Kill the Kiri. Thank you. Okay, did we need beam is the question. We already have rally
I don't
active.
think we did.
I feel like we don't need the beam. Yeah, beam definitely not necessary. Salt is really low though, but that's okay. Yeah. So I guess in an ideal world we'd have the beam set up already. So going into this fight, do we think that we have a resource advantage or a resource disadvantage based on ultimates? Probably disadvantage, right? So what does that mean we should do? Should we play fast or should we play slow?
Super fast.
Super fast, yeah.
Or you could play to kite.
You can't really play to kite because you give up so much space, and they have like really high percentage that you just put yourself into an OT situation that's like really losing, you know. So what you should do is posture up as far as you can. So I would want my Mauga to be like here, you know, and like if they end up walking to Kosai, that's fine. Then we just walk like over here, and then we go like 3, 2, 1, boom, and then we like cage here or something. You know, could be really cool. But yeah, I'd want to go. I'd want to go really aggressively, in my opinion.
I was coming back for spawn, so it was pretty hard to play super aggressive.
It is definitely a little bit difficult for sure. But let's see what we can do here. Yeah. Nice. Oh. So the cage was decent, but this is kind of similar to what we did on the hazard on the previous map. Was we ended up going into a space where we just don't have good LOS from our backline. Right, so it's the same thing. It's like you want to play an LOS of your Juno specifically, and you want to play an LOS of your Cassidy, and we weren't able to do that here. So I feel like this timing was not too great, right? I think it would be okay if we had people set up over here or something, but we're all over here, so you kind of cut across the entire team to get to here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like it was just a little bit poorly timed. It's still really winnable, actually, if we can get value from this cage, but we'll see. Looks like the cage breaks pretty fast. Yeah. Something we could have done as well was maybe like a cage plus high noon at the same time could have been good, because now that they're trapped, they can't kite the high noon. And so we might be able to get like a bunch of kills off of it, but weren't able to find that opportunity. Yeah. So I think we just jumped the gun a little bit on the last fight. But honestly, I'm kind of surprised we even got it to a 99. That's pretty impressive. But I think for that map, if you want to run on a Brig stuff, I'd strongly recommend that you run it with some sort of Winston or like Diva or something like that. And I would like on that map, I really like playing Kiri Lucio Winston. Actually, I think is pretty good. But yeah, anybody have any questions for me?
No.
Everything makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think like a general rule of thumb for you guys, because this happens to you guys a lot, no offense, but you guys do tend to be mid-map swappers just based off of vibes or something. I don't know why you guys swap, you just feel like it. I would say start on better comps and limit how often you swap, because you're kind of throwing away ult charge a lot of times, or you're taking a composition that has some sort of plan and strategy, and you make one swap and all of a sudden the strategy like changes drastically. You know, like the way that you play with Soj Genji in the Hazard comp is really different than the way you play Tracer Genji in the Hazard comp. You know, even though everything else is the same and the characters are really similar, Soj and Genji change the comp radically in terms of macro.